Footy History Podcast tracks the 1914 VFL season. Round by round, each episode relives and reveals all the action. The defining moments, the close finishes, and all the stars and the goal kickers. Footy History Podcast, Round 3. 20,000 excited fans attended Brunswick Street to see Fitzroy and South battle it out for the top spot on the ladder. The first quarter was the Harvey Kelly and Tom Heaney show. 31-year-old Kelly, South's oldest player, continued last week's form, scoring with a fine place kick and two sure punts to dominate the first quarter with 3 sixes. The Maroons' aeroplane Heaney returned fire, kicking 2 sixes, one from a magnificent soaring mark. South's Russich was roving well off the ruck of Les' charge and kicked a fine running goal. Kelly opened the second with another sixer, but Fitzroy came again through the hard work of McLennan, their best for the day, who got the ball to Toohey, who screwed the ball through the big sticks. Charge got the next goal for South. Playing an outstanding game, he picked up the ball from a crush and snapped truly. Full of pluck, the Maroons finished the half strongly with sixes to Yorkie Shaw, the pocket rover, and a dashing goal to Toohey to trail South by 8 points at the main break. The third quarter saw a goal to each of the combatants. Charge for South and Toohey for Fitzroy, with many free kicks being paid by umpire Lane, who insisted on the ball being dropped the instant that a man possessing it was touched. Most of the free kicks went to Fitzroy, and the followers of South cheered ironically whenever a decision favoured their side. After the orange break, it was all action. Kelly kicked his 5th, the Maroons' Heaney got a quick reply, Sloss, out of a crush, curled the ball cleverly back over his head for another to South, and there was tremendous excitement from the Fitzroy fans when Heaney kicked his 4th. Charge bagged another, but Freak snapped a sixer in reply to cut South's lead to 2 points before the ubiquitous Charge settled it with a hurried left-foot shot off the ground that went through. South Melbourne won a hard-fought 8-point victory. At the Junction Oval, home team and third-place St Kilda played fourth-placed Essendon. The big question before the game was who could stop the long St Dave McNamara, and the answer was the Dons' follower Alan Belcher, who was the best man afield. Whether shadowing McNamara or rucking, his marking and kicking were superb, and he kicked an important sixer before three-quarter time to give the Dons an 8-point lead. St Jory opened the last quarter with a sixer, but the Dons' pace ran the locals off their legs with a string of goals to Lumsden, Kirby and Fred Barring. McNamara kicked his 3rd for the game as the bell rang, but it was a solid 17-point win for the Dons. For Essendon, Kirby kicked 3 and 2 each to Shea and Webster. At the MCG, 8,000 saw Carlton easily defeat the inexperienced University. The Blues' new recruits Fisher, Dakin, Lahan and Sharp were all good, as was the first game of Herb Burley, who kicked 2. Jack Wells with Dash and Ginger kicked 4 goals, as did Gardner, and Athol Sharp kicked 2. For the students, sharpshooter Roy Park kicked all 4 of their goals. A convincing 70-point win to the Butchers. At Victoria Park, Collingwood were too strong for Richmond, winning by 54 points. The Wood sharpshooter Dick Lee was the dominant player on the field, bagging 5 sixes, continuing his great start to the year. Dan Minogue played well and kicked 2, and for the Richmondites, Percy Martin kicked 3. Down at Corio Oval, Geelong played a determined but inexperienced Melbourne. Melbourne fielded 7 players with under 10 games experience to Geelong's 1. The Redlegs won the first act by a goal before Geelong got their heads in front at the half and kicked away in the 3rd. When the bell rang, it was the Pivotonians by 16 points. Rover Hines was again the star for Geelong, supported by Orchard, and Martini and Bill Eason both kicked 3 sixes. Lugden was the Reds' best, with 2 goals each to Fairbairn, Maguire and Insigne. The ladder, top 4, round 3. South Melbourne, 12 points. Collingwood, 10 points. Essendon, 10 points. Fitzroy, 8 points ahead of St Kilda on percentage. The season's leading goal kickers, Lee, Collingwood 14, McNamara St Kilda 11, Martini Geelong 10 and Park University 8. Tune into Footy History Podcast for all the round 4 action, where second place Collingwood take on the fourth place Maroons and Carlton challenge the top team South Melbourne.
Monkey talk means Jim, I love you too. Then the big baboon one night in June, he married Jim, and very soon they went upon their honeymoon.